Mad world stories. Reality can be truly bizarre. Boston Molasses Flood, the sweet disaster of 1919. In the winter of 1919, Boston's North End was a busy and crowded neighborhood filled with sailors, factory workers, and families living close to the waterfront. One of the largest structures in the area was a huge metal tank that stood not far from the harbor. The tank held millions of liters of molasses, stored there by a company that used it to produce industrial alcohol, which at the time was used for making spirits and other industrial products. The tank had a troubled history. People living nearby said that it leaked almost from the beginning. Children even collected the sticky drops in cups. Workers also reported groaning noises coming from the structure, as if the metal plates were under too much pressure. Despite this, the tank remained in use. No one fully inspected it, and no major repairs were done. In mid-January, the tank was filled close to its maximum capacity. The weather had recently changed. One day was unusually warm for winter, which made the molasses inside the tank expand. The steel walls were thin and poorly built, and they were simply not strong enough to hold so much warm, heavy liquid. Without warning, the tank gave way. There was a deep rumble as the metal structure split apart. Molasses shot out in a wave several meters high, moving fast and pushing everything in its path. Streets, horses, wagons, and buildings were swept up by the thick, dark mass. The force knocked down support beams and crushed small wooden structures. A nearby fire station was pushed off its foundation. People in the area were caught completely by surprise. Some were trapped under debris, and others sank into the sticky molasses, unable to move. Rescue workers struggled because the cold air quickly thickened the molasses even more. Firefighters, police, and volunteers worked for days to pull people out and clear the streets. In the end, 21 people died, and more than 100 were injured. Animals and property were heavily affected as well. Cleaning the area took months. Workers used salt water, sand, shovels, and pressure hoses, but the sweet smell stayed in the neighborhood for a long time afterward. People said their shoes stuck to the ground, and the smell reached far into Boston. After the disaster, the city launched a major investigation. Engineers studied the broken pieces of the tank and discovered that the steel was too thin and brittle. It had not been inspected properly, and the company had ignored earlier signs of leakage. The collapse could have been prevented with stronger construction and regular safety checks. The legal case that followed forced the company to take responsibility. It also changed how industrial structures were regulated in the United States. From then on, companies had to follow stricter engineering standards, hire qualified inspectors, and follow safety rules before building large tanks or storage facilities. Even though it happened more than a century ago, the Great Molasses Flood remains one of the strangest industrial accidents in American history. It reminds us how small problems like leaks, cracks, and ignored warnings can lead to something much larger when no one pays attention. Thank you for listening to this story. Do you think such a sweet disaster could ever happen again? Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode.